Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Alphacraft. So, since last episode, I have been very busy. Very busy. Um, First up, I went ahead and I went to the Nether between episodes. I did not do it on camera. I did leave it recording just in case something happened. You can see I've still got 0 deaths. I left it running just in case something happened, but basically all I did for about 30 minutes was I ran to the Nether Fortress. I killed some blazes, and then I got some Nether wart. I gathered up a bunch of red and brown mushrooms. I gathered up some glowstone. I gathered up Nether quartz, and I gathered up magma blocks, and that was the main thing. I didn't get any wither skulls or anything like that, but I figure you guys have seen the Nether a million times, and I was going to record it, and it's just like, you know, it's not all that exciting. The Nether's not very scary, so I just went ahead and did my runnings about on there. Also, I know I mentioned it last episode, or episode before last, but I did make a to-do board, and basically the way this is laid out, these brown objectives: find terracotta source, cactus auto farm, sugarcane bone meal farm, and sheep farms, all 16 colors, heart. Those are like minor things that we need to do, like not as, basically not building, well, not directly related to building, even though it's indirectly related to building because I need these materials for building. But, and then over here, these top 3 are small projects. Decorate the Apothecary, which is what we're going to be doing today. Flesh out the mine. Build the actual forge. Those 3 things we need to do. Now these 3 here, these are like our mega projects, things that we're going to start working towards. These are big projects. They might take a few episodes. Start the night market. That's something I should have talked about last episode while I was doing some editing. Basically get the road to JJ and Wilds. I want to do that. And we need to get our first large tree built right over there. So that's our to-do list at the moment. And my plan is we're going to focus on stuff that's on the board, and if we knock off, say, whenever we get the Apothecary done this episode, we'll knock that off, we'll add something else up there, like maybe the lumber mill or, you know, something like that. Probably the towers, the 2 towers, because I do want to do that here soon. I also added this little, I do have a little bit more work because I need the supports on the underbelly. I like having those little like mossy cobble supports down there. But I did get that kind of organized, kind of like this little bridge. This little side over here is not done, and that pillar's not done. I just went ahead and placed those out. These 2 sheep are wandering around this little area, so I just fenced them in so they don't run off. This right here, I've started building. I've just been kind of doing these off camera. They're nothing elaborate. We will probably do some on camera as like little speed build projects. They really don't take very long. These are just basically houses, because I want to start adding life to our village, and just having everything be a shop, you know, it doesn't really make any sense. So we need places for people to live. And so this right here is going to be a house, actually our first diagonal house for the series, which is fun. These are easy though. And then over here is going to be another house. And over here is a finished house, 100% done. I knocked this out. It took maybe an hour and a half maybe to get it fully decorated. The path's not done, so you can actually see the dirt under there. It's one of my pet peeves. It's not going to stay that way though. If we go over to the side, we'll look at it from the side here. That's what we've got on the side. And it's nothing elaborate. These houses are just, some of them will be larger, but for the most part, I mean, these are pretty small. And this one does kind of fit with the theme. Like I said, I promise we'll be building buildings that aren't mossy cobble and dark oak. Oh, and the roof slant, you know, it's got like the steep one on that side and the more shallow one on that side. And if we step inside, I actually kind of love the interior of this house, I gotta say. So this is the interior of our house. We have a little bed, we have a little kind of kitchen area, and we have a little dining area. It's like a 1-person house. And then the dog, our first pet, Sandal. I don't know why I named it Sandal. No real particular reason. It's just for some reason I kept trying to think of a name, and the only thing I could think of was Sandal. I don't know why. It's just, it sounded right for this dog. So his name is Sandal. And then I've got a bunch of spruce and dark oak and just wood products here. Okay, and then the most exciting thing, I also started running the path that's going to go to the night market, but you know, there's nothing down there. It's just a path. But over here, I've started working on this area, which I've got to shape the bottoms up a little bit, and I'm probably going to add some leaves and yeah, and some stuff. But if we head up here, this is basically the start of our rootway. So we're going to have these. They're not really necessarily roots because, like I said, we're not trying to hurt the trees, so we didn't dig out the roots of the tree. It's more just like roadways made out of a lot of wood, I suppose. But anyways, they're not super elaborate at the moment. Like I said, I want to hang some leaves and kind of spruce them up a little bit, and then there's one that's kind of laid out here. I don't know if this is just going to be a walkway. I haven't decided if I want it to be one of those type walkways, because it is perfectly straight, and I mean, actually the first one we did, it's not perfectly straight, but this one's perfectly straight. Maybe this is man-made and those are I don't know. I haven't decided. I thought at one point about actually making these a bit rounder and kind of making it seem like old dead fallen trees that have fallen over and they've turned them into a bridge. We might do that, or we might not, because I do kind of want the leaves hanging down, the life coming off of it, so I don't think it would be dead in that case. I don't know. I'm not for sure. Or maybe just have it as like vines. I don't know for sure. And so this is going to be kind of like one of the main entrances into the town, and then we're going to be building a tower over here and a tower up there, kind of big watchtowers that are watching this main entrance coming into the town from the roadway. That's a project that we're going to be doing. We're just going to knock out both of those in one episode and maybe something else. I don't know. We'll see. So that is, I think, the main things that I have been working on since last episode. And so what we're going to be doing today is, of course, we're going to be decorating out the inside of this. And I think, if you guys hate this method, let me know down in the comments. But I think I have a way for us to kind of decorate on camera, but it not take 9 episodes to do so. So, give me just a second here. But what I'm thinking, the first thing that we should do is we should add some planters for our netherwort and our soul sand. Okay, so we got some planters. I put some downstairs as well in the other part of the cellar. Just netherwort though down there. These are mainly just for decoration, the mushrooms are, but I think they add a lot just having kind of this mushroom cellar. Okay, so now that that's in place, we need to add some storage back in here, I think. Okay, I've got some storage set up, and I went ahead and put item frames on there with the different items. Of course, not all these are filled out at the moment, but just different things that we'll be using for brewing. I don't have much in here at the moment. I mean, I've got a bit of glowstone and redstone and gunpowder and pufferfish and sugar and stuff like that, but most of the things, we're going to build them up. And then I went ahead and added a few more netherwort planters, so we'll have lots of netherwort down here. And then we'll just have these 2 little mushroom beds right over there. And I've been kind of harvesting this so I can fill out all of these and the ones downstairs. So, okay, so now what we need to do is we need to adjust the lighting so that it's not, there's not torches on the ground. I am planning on using torches for the lighting down here, though, instead of lanterns. So we're going to adjust the lighting, and then we're also going to add a little bit of randomization with the blocks. I'm going to use some gravel on the floor, and I don't know if I'm going to use any smooth stone. I think smooth stone, because it would be like a cobblestone floor, and then maybe some of the cobblestone has worn out, and it's gravel, I think. So, and then I'm going to maybe add a little bit of randomization to the walls. I'm going to give that some thought. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I mixed in a few lanterns just to kind of break it up, and also because it was kind of awkward trying to light these areas here and here to keep mobs from spawning with a torch, but with a lantern it worked out pretty well. So I did throw in some of those. The floor is just cobblestone and gravel, but it kind of breaks up just that solid cobblestone texture. And then the walls to kind of keep, because cobblestone just, it doesn't really look like the walls cracking or anything like that. And since we're not using stone bricks, I don't have cracked stone, you know. But what I used was andesite, which I think kind of accomplishes, because it's such a similar texture to that stone. It just kind of looks like it's got these big cracks running through it, so it actually kind of works out nicely to kind of break up some of that wall for us. And I'll quickly run you through here so you can see the rest of the area and the lighting down through here. I kind of added these, and I used them on oak fences. And then down here like that. Of course, there's no gravel stairs, so the stairs have to stay cobblestone. Oh, and then out here I did toss down a lamp right there. Oh, hey. Don't mind if I do. I need bones and arrows, so... but anyways, that light right there lights up this end of the tunnel because it does pass through the trapdoors. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is just make one last pass through here and just add a little bit of clutter just to kind of break things up a little bit. And mainly like barrels, and I'm going to add some fences here between this because I feel like there should be a support here, but I don't want to put a full block, so I'm going to use fence supports and just add some clutter around here. And then we'll be done down here. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I have cluttered this up a little bit. I also shaped up that just a little bit and changed that and just have the torches there. Added these little bits of spruce wood fencing just to kind of contrast against that wood. And I thought about doing stripes of like just small little stripes of like discolored wood. I'm not for sure if I'm going to do that or not. I kind of like this. And then I added a little flower pot here, just kind of like a bucket that's been left behind, and some stuff over here, just some cluttery stuff, and some little storage blocks and stuff. And if we head down here, a little bit more storage, and there's another bucket lying there. But yeah, and I think that's done down here anyways. So now we have another wart farm. Just a little manual, just a small one, but honestly, unless we start building with netherwort blocks and stuff, it's probably going to be pretty good for our needs, I should think. Okay, so now we need to move on to the next areas. Now we get to move into the big stuff. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to start in here, and I want to start adding some plants and stuff. That's going to be the majority of what this room is, so I want to go ahead and add some plants. Okay. I got some plants added. You can see there's a little bit of sugarcane. There's actually water behind that. There's some peonies and a little bush I made. And then we've got some hanging plants. These are two different variations. This was like the old one that I was most familiar with, which is just the iron bar, the leaf, and then a hopper to kind of make the pot. But this is a new one because the way the sweetberry sits, it actually touches the iron bar. So we can use that with a little bit of dirt and the trapdoors around it, which makes a really, really pretty pot. So I just kind of mixed them because, you know, we've got plants all over this place. And a little bit of flowers back in here. We got to get this thing lit up because I think mobs will be able to spawn here now. Yeah, this is only like 3 light level. And then over here, bamboo, because naturally it's so pretty. I had to stick it in here, and I actually stuck quite a bit of it. And I've got some vines that are going to grow down. I do have string to block those so they can't get too long. A little bit of vines over here, a little bit of string for variation. And then over here I've got a little planter box, and we've actually got a little bit of carrots, potatoes, beets, and wheat planted in here, and then just some little flower pots. And then up here we've got kind of a little rest area. So if they're working out here and they just want to relax and enjoy all the stuff that's growing out there, then they can sit down here and relax. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and sort the lighting here. I'm not going to go heavy with the lighting because a lot of it I want it to be natural light, but I just want to have enough so that mobs aren't spawning in here. Okay, I went pretty light on the lighting. I didn't put a lot. I mean, there's a lantern there, there's one there, one over there, one there, one there, and one right there. And some of this area is actually dark enough that it could spawn mobs, but it is slabs. But I wanted to leave whatever places I could dark, so we kind of have more, you know, it's going to be bright in the daytime, it's going to be a little bit dimmer at night, which is kind of what I'm going for. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do, by the way, whenever I'm going through these areas, I am checking the light Like right here it's 7, but it's a half slab, so no mobs can spawn. But I am checking, like with the cellar and everything, I'm checking all the blocks, making sure that mobs can't spawn using F3 and just walking about and looking at the lighting on the block there. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is just final touch-ups and a little bit of clutter, and then we can move on to the next section. Okay, actually it just turned night, so I wanted to pop you guys in here to show you what it looks like at night. It does have a couple little bright spots, but that can't be helped. But it is a lot darker during the night than during the day. And look at that. I love it. I love it. It should all be done, I think, barring any, like, last-minute rash, like, oh, we should add this. But I did add some carpets, add a little bit of lighting there. I made a banner. It's a very simple banner. All it is what, gradients, I think is what it's called, and then a border, and then a flower charge. So it's like green, gray, and blue are the colors there. Very, very simple banner, but it does kind of add some character to this building that it would be lacking otherwise, I think. Just kind of giving it its own little symbol and everything. I imagine we'll use these a bit throughout the build. I actually stuck one out front as well on the door. I'm going to put one of that banner on the by the door and one of our city banner by the door. And then I didn't add a whole lot. I mean, the plants are pretty much the clutter. And I actually think I'll bring that up right there. Wish you could make string just totally invisible. But anyhow, I added another banner there, and then I added a couple potted plants, and I kind of angled the little shelves, the little floating shelves like that, so it kind of, you know, especially with this long shelf, I love having that one that's kind of dipped down and different. So just kind of gives it a little bit more character. And then I added some carpet up here. So nothing too fancy up here, but it does its purpose. Just a little like hangout spot. So, oh, and one really, really quick thing. I almost forgot when I was doing this basement. I forgot to add a little bit of cobweb. So I added one right there, and then there's one down here and one right there. Okay, so now we need to work on the entrance. I will say, moving forward, I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what we're doing. And we still have to do a very, very quick time lapse at the end to decorate the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move a little bit quicker so this episode doesn't end up being 40 minutes long, you know, or I don't have to do it in 2 parts. A lot of the stuff I'm just going to do kind of in bulk. We're just going to cover, from this point on, we're just going to cover the main parts that are kind of like standoutish, then we'll just walk through at the end. But I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing at this point. But anyways, this room, I'm considering it from like here all the way back to like back in here. And what I'm going to add in here is going to be alchemy tables, or brewing stands, I mean. And also some plants and just some general clutter, fix the lighting and all that stuff. So I will be back in just a bit. Okay, welcome back. It has been a little bit. By the way, these chests will not stay here forever. That's just where my materials are at. So I have to leave those for the time being. But you can see I did add a little bit of randomization in some of these blocks. I'll actually probably add some crack stone down here as well. Maybe once I move those chests, you know, I'll just go back through and just double check. But anyways, over here, we've kind of got like a little area where like shipments have been brought in. So, you know, like materials that they're not growing. You know, they've got a lot of their herbs and stuff they're growing here. But this is like stuff that they've ordered that has come in, like metals and, you know, different things like that. Over here is just kind of a little crafting nook. Just kind of for some clutter, some storage clutter. I was actually thinking that this shop, originally I was going to put a storefront on there with like a little desk. But I decided no, because I would think if it's an apothecary, they may not have a storefront. You know, you come in and you say, well, this is what I need, or, you know, this is what's going on. And then they can kind of set you up with what you need. So I don't think they would actually have a storefront. I think it would be like made to order kind of stuff, I guess. Plus we're going to have the night market, so I'm thinking a lot of these stores, these are more like an apothecary guild, let's say. And going on that, I think I'm going to put some additional beds and stuff upstairs. I do have one set up right now just for me to sleep in, but I think I'm going to put some additional beds and whatnot upstairs, and we'll have a lot of the housing area upstairs. is kind of what I'm thinking. Now these item frames that are kind of littered around, I'm going to put potions in them whenever I start brewing stuff. I'll stick some, just some potions in there. And I was thinking about putting a water source, like a little 2x2 like we did with the whale. But the whale is like literally right there. So I'm thinking no. That they need to go out to the whale because it kind of makes more sense anyways than them having water in here. If we come up, of course I got our little banners up here. And then bamboo, I just love using this for decoration. I did put some string over these because these I kind of want them just to grow to a certain level and then stop. And I also added some little, little beams across there. I also added them over here, just kind of as supports because I got all this. This was actually the last thing I added because I got all this built out and I was like, man, the middle's just so barren. So I tossed those in there and it actually kind of brought everything together, I think, a lot better. And there is a lot of brewing stands. I think there is, was there 9? But anyways, there's a little garden here and painting and some stuff. Just lots of little clutter work. I mean, that's the majority of what I'm doing is like lighting, clutter. But this is kind of nice because we'll be able to brew here. And of course we have our brewing material storage downstairs and we're going to have a storage for potions in here as well. So we'll be getting to that right up here. Right up there and then maybe back here. I'm not for sure. We might put extra storage back there, but we shall see. So anyways, we're going to move on to the next segment, which will be through here and through here and finishing out this little area. And then if I'm feeling really, really skippy, I might go ahead and do this section. So, and then we'll tackle the top 4. Okay, I think I've got this little section fairly done. You can see our little storage closet's got some stuff in there. And then just a little bit of decoration stuff. Nothing too over the top, I don't think. But it does feel kind of homely up here. Or homey, not homely. It does feel pretty homey up here, I think. A little armor stand in case the town gets attacked or something. We've kind of got like a men-at-arms sort of thing going on. And then a little bed here for somebody to sleep in. And then if we step out on the balcony, another one of these little composters. I do love these things. Actually, earlier, I was helping out Bia's. We were on Dibs' stream. And afterwards, I was hiding in this composter. And then whenever, or not this one, but in a composter. And whenever he would come over, it was actually after the stream had ended, but he'd come over and he'd open it and I'd jump out and be like, surprise! So, but yeah, I was having a bit of fun with those. But anyways, another little composter over here. And just some stuff. I'm going to put some stuff in these item frames. I'm just not sure what at the moment. And then one of our town banners up here. So, because we have to represent the town. And, yeah. That's not to say I won't add anything, but, because I might add something down through here, but I don't know. Or no. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think it's a lot better than it was. Also, I did change this floor over to dark oak. I'm still on the fence about it. It's a little bit dark, like when you're first coming up here, but I also think it kind of fits the feel of the Apothecary. And it actually looks really good with the carpet, I think. And, it's not like there's not enough stuff contrasting, so it's not a big deal, I don't think. Oh, and I added this too. But yeah, I think I like the dark oak. I wanted something that wasn't oak, so we at least have some floors in here that aren't oak. Plus it kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes the entrance be like, wow, instead of having that oak, because there's actually a lot of places here that don't have the carpet, so I feel like the dark oak looks a little bit better. Right here, this is just a simple little thing. There's a hopper here, and it feeds down into a composter, and then there's another hopper right there, just kind of hidden in this, like, all these crates, and then it feeds bone meal in. So basically, anytime I go and I harvest a bunch of stuff, like, and I get a bunch of saplings or seeds that I don't need, I just swing by and dump them in here, or any kind of crops or anything like that. I can just dump them in there and get bone meal out of it. So, because we'll be using a lot of bone meal. Okay, so now for the last section of decorating, we have to do this upstairs area. It's actually not that big of an area, but we do have a bit of decorating to do through here. So, I'll see you guys in I don't know, an hour or two once I finish this. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. It's a bit more lively in here. So if we come up the stairs, staircase, nothing too elaborate. But if we head up here, I've added a little wall here, crafting table, a little room right here, which is actually, I think, kind of a nice little space. And then if we head out over in this direction, we've got some clutter. We've got some more clutter. We've got some more clutter. It's just clutter all over the place. And then over here, we've got more clutter. I've got a crafting table and a bow and a little hedge here, or a little tree, and then a little sitting area. And that's, I mean, I think that's pretty good, and it should all be lit up to where no mobs can spawn. Overall, I am pretty happy with the interior of this place. I'm pretty happy. And right here, this is what happens to bad zombies who break my doors. So this guy right here, and it's actually kind of cool, he is a special zombie. He is a plain zombie leatherworker. And he did drop his head, and it was funny because he busted through my door. And he picked up my door and was just standing there, like waiting for me to kill him. Like he never attacked me, he just stood at the door and just waited. But I think it has to do with the fact that I have carpet in front of the door. I don't think he can come in, maybe, because he would not come in the door. So, but anyways, I decided to put his head up here. I did go ahead and zombie-proof, though, after that, which, of course, is where you flip the doors. Drayman was like, have you not zombie-proofed him? Or you should zombie-proof him or whatever. And I was like, oh, yeah. I haven't had to do that in a long time. Because really, you don't... It seems like you never have to worry about that in modded, so... and then I did brew some potions. So I threw some potions up there and some potions up there. And you can see these are kind of loaded out. This one over here doesn't have any potions in it at the moment. But I did go ahead and make... these are all instant health. And then I have like strength and slow falling. And there's some speed, water breathing, strength, and night vision. So I can just kind of grab whatever potion I want from here. I don't have any regen potions. I don't think that I've got a ghast here. I don't think. But I did get those set up. And yeah. And I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and jump into the speed build. We might be running a little bit over in this episode, but it's kind of a big episode and we're covering a lot of things. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the last bit, which is speed building, finishing out the exterior. Just kind of decorating it and all that. Okay, first up, I'm kind of just going through adding some variation to the stone. I do it to the roof. But I don't think I got that footage. I must have not had it recording. But you can see I'm going to go ahead and plot out where the roof line is going to run. And then it cuts here because I didn't have that bit of footage. But you can see I've added some variation to the stone all across. Adding a little bit of cobblestone in with the mossy cobblestone to kind of break that up. And then right now I'm actually redoing the roof because the roof was way too flat. It was kind of bland, kind of boring, and it made the whole structure look horrible, I thought. So I've kind of redid the roof and I've kind of brought it out, given it a lot more character, giving it kind of like a 3D element, and then we're going to add some stuff here in a minute to make it pop even more. I'm just kind of redoing this roof just slightly. There's not a whole lot I can do. It's not a very big section, but you can see I did bring that little section, I brought it back one more block so it looks like it plugs in better. And then we're just kind of doing the same thing on this side and giving it that 3D element, and I think it adds so much to this building that's needed. And then right here, I was giving it some thought, and I came up, well, right here, okay, I thought, well, I'm going to do this kind of not super elaborate design. We are going to do some super elaborate, like elven type roofs a little bit later. And that's, at first I thought that's what I was going to do, and then I was like, it's going to be too heavy on this. So I just did something kind of simple, but then I had this funny epiphany, right? I came back here in just a second, and right here, I kind of add a couple blocks. I'm like, oh my gosh, that kind of looks like a bird skull. And so I had the funny idea, and right now I'm just adding some vines, but I had an idea to maybe make all the buildings that have crests on them, make them kind of different so that they kind of fit maybe with the building, or maybe you can identify them from a distance. So I gave this one those big bird skulls kind of holding those lanterns. I thought it was kind of cool, something a little bit different. and just kind of had some fun with it. So, and then I added some vines over to the top, and now I'm just kind of going through adding some planter boxes and just a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of vines, that kind of stuff, and some little flower pots outside, some little clutter, or clutter here, right here, yeah. Just some stuff. I will say I did not get a fireplace put in this. I tried to figure out a place, but I could not find a place to stick a fireplace. That didn't feel like I was trying to force a fireplace there, and it was gonna, the places I found, it would cut out windows and things like that. And it was just it was like, nah. And then right here, bone meal. Okay, so this building, I think it's 100% done. I mean, that's not to say I might not add any small things or whatnot, but I really like it. And the greenhouse area looks gorgeous at night. It does, because it kind of glows, and you can see the plants, and then you kind of have those vines draping down, and you can kind of see the, that's kind of like the bird skull looking shape where this crest is. So, I mean, it's nothing super elaborate. But I think it adds a lot of character to this building, and these roof additions are great. I'm actually going to come in through the back door, and that's because you can kind of get a real feel. There's where I was chopping birch for vines. I used birch on this because birch actually, while being an ugly leaf for most purposes, like I love the oak and stuff, it's a lot more lush, but birch actually works very, very well for like a vine type look, I think. And right here you can really get a feel for like how much this roof adds. Like that just gives it so much more character than that little flat roof that we had before. And I don't know, like that was one of the first things I wanted to do whenever I started doing all this, is because that roof, I hated it. The way it was kind of, I mean, it works all right on that A-frame, but it didn't work on this building at all. And this building, it was time we stepped up our game and didn't make that lazy roof that we had going on this building. So I do have to add a little bit of lighting on the back. I'll do that. It's no biggie. I might have missed some little things like that, so I will clean them up. But we'll walk around it, and then we'll go into the front, and we'll make a quick pass to the building. I mean, this episode's getting on in time, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time jabbering, because I will spend a good 30 minutes jabbering. I had so much fun with this building. It took, it took a few days. Of course, I was also doing some side projects. I think I've been working on this for like 3.5 days, maybe. But I also did that and bridges and all kinds of other stuff during that time. And then the cellar, which has been great for netherwart farming. I think this episode, the decorating episode, has taken maybe a day and a half to do, something like that. Of course, I did sleep during that time, but it's taken maybe a day and a half to decorate all this out. But the exterior decoration, I mean, that was like 2 hours. And of course, that's not a day and a half of actual at the keyboard working. It's just more like, that's an actual real life time frame. So now we're upstairs, kind of in the housing area sort of space. It's not all about brewing up here, because we've kind of got that lower section that's all about brewing and growing the crops and all that stuff. I love this. Look at that roof. I love it. I added this extra little support beam there. I showed it off in the video, but I think it might have been kind of hard to see because the dark oak, it was actually kind of hard to spot maybe. But yeah. And then this little bit added on there with the banner kind of hanging out away from the porch. I don't know why I was doing flat roof. It was a big dumb moment, but look at all that. Lots of life growing off of here, and just really, really vibrant and fun. Such a fun building. And so before we end out, though, there's one thing. I know this episode's running long, and I do apologize. I'm trying to keep them away from the 40-minute mark. Like in the 30s is enough. But there's one thing I want to do just really, really quick. Right here, decorate the apothecary. That's done. That building is done. I mean, that's not to say I won't change small things, but I think that's done. So we can pull the first thing off of our to-do board, and we are going to add on We're going to add the Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I'll go ahead and put that there because I think that's going to be, that actually might be, out of these three, that one's actually probably going to be our next thing that we work on because I really want to get those towers up, and basically that's the tower that goes up here and the tower that goes right over there. So we're going to have these two big towers there as you enter. So that might be the next build project that we tackle, just because it's going to add so much more to this section. Anyways, I'm going to end out this episode right here before it ends up getting really long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you liked the build. By the way, really quick kind of question to ask you guys, and you can leave it down in the comments. I need a name for this apothecary. So if anybody has any ideas, let me know down in the comments, and I'll take a look at those, and we'll try to figure out a good name for this apothecary. And this apothecary shop will be present, of course, at the night market. We'll have one set up where they sell potions there. I mean, I think that's where a lot of the trade's going to happen. These are more like the trade shops where they actually do their work, but then they sell it at the night market. But I imagine people can come in and make orders and stuff like that. So, but if anybody has any ideas, let me know down in the comments. I'll take a look at those. And if you like this build, please hit that like button. Let me know. I hope you guys like it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.